Okay, lesson 5 is pretty easy. You guys can do it just right along with me. So the first bubble just wants you to look at the code and predict what it's going to do. And we're talking about variables this lesson. So we kind of started talking about those on Tuesday, but we'll just do a little more work on them. So the variable they make is called x position, and it's holding the number 50. So we want to predict that it's going to it's going to draw a circle, and x position is the variable, so it's going to be 50. That's going to be the x coordinate. So we'll say it's probably going to be drawn in the bottom left corner. So you can just type that, bottom left corner, and test it. Woohoo, we did it. Finish, continue. And then go ahead and you can pause me for a minute and watch this video. It's pretty helpful. And come on back when you're done. All right, so he explained variables in his own way, and we're just going to do a couple practice things. Another little quick prediction. We have two variables now, x position and what's the y. And so if we look, that's going to be the x. So it will be 300, the y will be 100. So we're going to scroll up over here, x over to 300, and y 100 goes way up. So this time it'll be in the top right corner, right? So let's say that, top right corner. Run it. Looks good. We did it. Finish. Continue. All right, so here is when I was talking about what happens when there's something wrong with your code. These little red squares show up next to the line of code. There's something wrong with each of these. So this is just a practice on how to name variables correctly. So there's rules, and variables can't have any spaces in them. So that's why there is a bug on line 1. So we're going to take the spaces out of the name of this variable, and it turns into a yellow triangle, which is fine. They can't start with a number. Names of variables cannot start with a number, so we can just change this so that the number goes to the end, or take the number out. And when you make your variable up here and then you use it in your coding, they have to make sure they match exactly. So since we changed them when we named them up here, and then we use them in our code, we may have to make sure they're changed down on line 6 too. So we changed that. Y location does not start with a capital letter. It's a lowercase y. Size of circle has to take the spaces out here. And I think we should have no more bugs, no more yellow triangles, no more red squares, so we can run it. And our red circle looks just like the example. So we did it perfectly. Awesome. Finish. Continue. Halfway there. Oh, more than halfway there. All right. They make a variable called petal size for this picture, and it's a 50 pixel right now. So they just want us to do a little experiment and change the petal size. And instead of having to go through in every line of code and change the width and height, we can just change this number one time. So right now it's 50 pixels, but if we double it to 100, these red circles will automatically become twice the size, all 4 of them, because they use the variable here in every piece of code there. All right, let's try a couple more numbers just to see what it looks like. If we make them really small, they'll just be tiny red dots. Yep. If we make them really big, they're going to just take over the screen. Too big. Now it just looks like a black circle in the middle of a red background. So I think 100 looked good. We'll leave it there. Perfect. Finish. Continue. Let's do just one of these practices. We'll try changing the variable like we did in the last one. change the circle size so we can make it so big that it looks like a background. So right now it's just at 400. If we change this to double that, I can't even tell it's a circle. It's just covering up the entire screen. So that's a good way to fill in and make a background color if you need to do it that way. All right. If you want to try the other practice, this cute teddy bear practice, go ahead and pause me and go for it. But we're going to keep going in this video here to the next bubble, 7. And it has the code that draws a little face that looks a little wonky because the eyes are different sizes. But we do have a variable for eye size. They're just not using it correctly. So let's fix this code so that the eyes match and he doesn't look like he's kind of tweaked out there. So he's got down here on line 12 draws one eye, and we use eye size for both of those, width and height. But then when it draws the right eye, it's using a smaller number. And this way, if we change them both to eye size, no matter what number we use to fill in that variable, the eyes will always match. So down here on line 13, just change that 10 and 10 to say eye size. Make sure you use a capital S, just like they do when they make the variable. It's got to match exactly. And then we have a nice symmetrical face. We can change the eye size here, make them have really big surprised eyes. Oh, wow. Yep. Look at it. It's freaked out. All right. Finish. Continue to the challenges. This is where I'm going to leave you to pick one of them and see if you can be successful at a challenge or do your own little experiment in free play. And when you are finished with Bubble 8, you are finished with class today. And you have all your participation points and you're set to go and watch this. I think there's look at, I can make fireworks with my pointer on the video now. So once you get to challenges and you finish it, look at that. Woohoo! You're all finished. And we will do live Zoom on Tuesday. All right. Goodbye. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the fireworks.